Hello everybody, it's Holly from Besotted Orchids. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope things are going well for you in the orchid world and whatever world you're living in with your life. Everybody has different things going on, different phases of life, all sorts of things. Anyhow, we are going to be looking at the brass. Okay, let me read it from the screen. The Epicattleya lime sherbet times, so it was bred with Brassavola nodosa. This is off the Carmela website. Is a green and white orchid hybrid from Carmela Orchids. It has a 4-inch greenish flower with white lip. Fragrant, easy to grow, a cross between, of course, lime sherbet and nodosa. Why do I read all that off to you instead of the tag? Because the tag said Copper Queen. Am I a little salty that it wasn't Copper Queen? It's on my wish list, people. It's all on my wish list. You know, and I told my twin I wasn't going to go to Akron. I wasn't in the mood to drive the whole way up to Akron and go through another, does that sound bad? And go to another orchid show. But I'm pretty sure I remember last year seeing some Copper Queens. So that might just be all the little bit of encouragement I need to trot up to Akron and enjoy the day with my brother, which was fun. Last year we went up, we did the orchid show, and then he took me out to a nice restaurant, some Thai restaurant. It was a very lovely day out with him. You have to have some twin outings. So anyhow, this is not Copper Queen. And upon researching, I'm confident that's what we're looking at here. At first I thought it may be the key lime, crossed with nodosa, but that's not true. Because the key lime is speckled up in here, inside the lip. So when you are identifying an orchid, there's so many different variables you have to look at. Is it scented? Is it non-scented? This did just get showcased on a scented orchid video. Just a little plug for that one. But anyhow, beautiful orchid. It does have a little bit of a spread, but you could easily, look at that, you could easily put a band around that or something, or even a stake to kind of get it up to save a little bit of room in your grow space. Because come on, we all could save a little bit of room. I have so many orchids right now, but I'm excited. I haven't been excited about my orchids in a long time, through my neglect. So we're coming into a year that I think is going to be a great year for the orchids. And yesterday was Valentine's Day, so I'm getting a lot of messages from people who got orchids for Valentine's Day, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And of course they're getting the store-bought Phalaenopsis, so that's a very easy care tip. Roots get silver, there you go, water it. But anyhow, back to this beauty. This one here is night fragrant. So if you are up in the evening hours, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy the scent. Not just the beautiful blooms, but the scent. If you are never up in the evening time or night hours or early morning, you could enjoy this early morning. I've come down as late as say 7 a.m. and it still has a scent. But it's prime time for the scent is going to be after 10. It just really starts pumping out the fragrance after 10 p.m. Because this is meant to attract a nighttime pollinator. This would be pollinated. I know it's a hybrid. But say this was growing out in nature. It's meant, the parents of this were meant to attract a moth. So it's going to be scented at night. It's not going to waste, orchids don't waste energy. They didn't get to be an apex plant by just willy-nilly deciding how they're going to run things. They're not just tearing about, doing things willy-nilly. It's very specific how an orchid became what it is. And it was for survival. It really is. This one knows it's going to be pollinated at night by a moth. So it's going to put the fragrance out in the nighttime. Other ones, I'm not going to show them because I just did a video on it. I'm going to get completely off. But other ones are day scented. They will be pollinated more by bees. People forget about the bees. Butterflies, things like that. So, yeah, this is a night scented bloom. So if you just want to enjoy a beautiful bloom, go ahead and get it even if you're never ever up at night. Go ahead and get it. But you're just not going to enjoy the full essence that is this orchid. And this is a Mariclone. This one was cloned. It did come from Carmela in the Mariclone package. Like I said, it has previously bloomed 3 times. That's a good sign. Listen, that's a really good sign if you get an orchid in and you can see so many previous blooms. Of course, that's growing in prime conditions. They're in Hawaii. They have greenhouses. They have fans. They have the natural humidity. They have everything going for it over there. So I'm just hoping with my home care that I see pretty close to the same results. I can't, if you're going in the home, you're going to have conditions that are not optimal for your orchid. That's just the way it is. I mean, we can have grow lights. We can do everything. We'd have to have grow lights. We'd have to have temperature control. You'd have to have humidifiers, fans. It's a lot more than I want to do in my home. So if my blooms are not quite as grand as they would be coming out of the greenhouse, I'm okay with that. It's just what you have to do. Would I one day love to have a conservatory type thing on my house? I would never want an external greenhouse. I wouldn't want that. I'm not going to go out there. I mean, I do go outside, but I love my orchids in the house because they're with me. I live with them. I think with a conservatory on the house, I would access it much more frequently to enjoy. I would want a little seating area. I would want a place to have tea or coffee with my girlfriends. I'd want them to come over and enjoy my beautiful little koi pond. I have a plan, people. I'd like a little koi pond with a fountain. Sit and have coffee in the mornings with my husband. Things like that. Things like that. So anyhow, yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful orchid. This is a new growth. You can tell because it's just emerging from the sheath down here. And it is a lighter green. The lighter green is always going to tell you it's a newer growth. So, what do we know about this orchid? We know it's a reliable bloomer. So pretty sure it's going to bloom again from this spot right here. It's gonna set up another spike, which is wonderful. I will have sequential blooms, but not from a sequential blooming plant. It's just how it's happening to come along. A sequential bloomer would be this same spike would continue to bloom, like your Cycopsis Mendenhall, things like that. But I think I'm going to have, a month or two. I might have some more blooms over here. And these are long-lasting blooms. From what I'm reading, they can bloom for up to 6 weeks. So that's really nice. Some of your Cattleyas, you see me looking around because I do have orchids sitting down here out of the camera range. Some of them are not long-lasting. So you have to think about that with your orchid. But this one here would be a wonderful orchid if you wanted to be up in the evening, even from 10 o'clock on, or early morning riser. Sit there with your coffee, sit there with your wine in the evening, and just enjoy the beautiful scent while you're reading a book or something. That would be lovely. But if you want to, in the middle of the afternoon, have friends over and wow them with this spectacular fragrance, this is not your orchid. I mean, it is on the beauty. Just for the beauty of it. This is your orchid. So you have to think about that with your orchids. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, this is in the Cattleya family. You're not going to soak this. It doesn't want massive amounts of water on this orchid. You don't want it to dry out for weeks on end either, though. Just not like your Oncidium orchids that do like a lot of water. Like your Twinkle, sitting over here to my right, out of camera. Yeah, it doesn't want massive amounts of water. But it also is going to want a lot of sunlight. You're going to want to give this some good sun. It'll take it. This could take a south-facing window if it was back a little bit. If this is my orchid. If this orchid that I do own was sitting in a south-facing window in my home, I would have it back at least a foot, or not 2 feet. I don't think it would. Correct me if I'm wrong, if some of you have it right up against a south-facing window. I just wouldn't do that. I don't think I would do it with any of my orchids, go that close to it. We have east-facing windows here. The majority of my orchids I grow are in those conditions. And I do sit them as close as I possibly can to my east-facing windows. I really do. I get them right up on the sill if I can. I'm going to be adding some grow lights. This one would grow very well under a grow light, as would any orchid. So don't be put off by the fact that it needs a lot of light, and you might not have a good south or west-facing window. Those are your stronger lights here in the northern hemisphere. Obviously, the poles are different on the other end. So you're going to have a northern would be your stronger light, like hello, plant lovers Matthew. His stronger light is the north-facing window in his home. So if you're down there enjoying probably fall right now, probably moving into fall, that would be okay with you, a north-facing window. So anyhow, I digress. But this is a lovely, lovely, lovely Cattleya. I'm happy to have it in my collection. I'm happy with any orchid, but especially the scented ones. The scented ones, just, I don't know. You want to have the beauty, but you also want to experience all your senses. You want to say, Oh, this is such a lovely orchid. It does add green and vibrancy to my home. And it's not offensive when it's not in bloom. This is a pretty little orchid. It also is beautiful when it's in bloom. It's just a striking orchid. The contrast is just fabulous. It's not blurry. Nothing just blurs and blends together like some of the orchids do. It's crisp. It's a very crisp orchid. And as far as the fragrance go, this one is in the nodosa family. You're going to have a lemony, a citrus scent to it. It's still floral. It's not like you're smelling a lemon, but it is very citrus heavy. You still have the floral and the citrus, if that makes any sense to you. So it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, look at that. Very, very pretty. I am well pleased with this orchid. But yeah, I do have the BLC Copper Queen on my wish list. So, and speaking of that, I will be going. We do have a local orchid show here back at Kingwood Center Gardens, and I told my husband that would have been a great Valentine gift to take me up to Kingwood Gardens. Not interested in doing that. So I got the traditional gifts, but yeah, which is wonderful. It's wonderful. But I am going to be going off. I might invite one of my hiking friends, one of my friends that hike. Maybe I'll invite her up because Kingwood Garden also has a lot of grounds with it, and we could go around the entire property and say we had a hike and view the beautiful orchids at the same time. What could be wrong with that? So that's about all I have to say about this orchid. I would recommend it. I would highly recommend this orchid to anybody. Easy care. It's not going to be picky, and it's not finicky. Your orchids that have a little thicker root typically are not as finicky. Some of the Cattleyas have been bred with things that lend to a finer root, and those will need a little bit more humidity added to them. But this one here is a nice thick root. It's going to take a little longer between watering. So if you're not on top of your watering all the time, a nodosa might be your plant. You definitely would not want to soak this in water all the time. You just wouldn't want to do that to this beautiful orchid. So I'm thinking I could get maybe 2 blooms a year out of this, which would be absolutely lovely. I think that's wonderful. So please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you do have this beautiful little orchid in your collection. And above all, enjoy those orchids. Thanks for watching.